This is Bell Bottom Blues from Eric Clapton, of course, from the infamous Derek and the Dominoes album, Layla, and all of that good stuff. And this is a really cool song. It's very bluesy and kind of a little bit like George Harrison. So I'll take you through these chords. I've had a lot of people ask me to show them the chords to this song. And so I'm going to show you that intro exactly as you hear it played on the recording. I'm not covering any of the solos and the layerings of guitars that are in there. This is just covering the song and the chord progression itself. So we start out with a C chord, but we have this opening phrase. That's really sweet. So you can see the tab up on the screen, but going over it, we've got the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret on the A string, open D string, and then you want to kind of fall into a full C chord shape. And what you hear right after that open D string on the recording is the B string. So we go, and then we fall into the chord, like I say, and we hammer on the D string at the 2nd fret. And you want to get a few more strings in there, primarily the A string with that. And then swing down to the B string and follow right through B, G, D. So when you put that phrase together, you have that's really sweet. And then the rest of it is really simple, and you don't do that again on the C chord, so I'll explain that a little bit as well. Now, after that opening C chord, we move to an E major, but most of these are just 3-string arpeggiated chords. But I think it's easier to just play the full chord shapes. You don't have to. You can just do whatever you want. Like for the A minor, you don't really need the full A minor. You just need a couple of strings. But let me explain how that works. We move from the C chord to an E major, and that's the A string, D string, G string, and back to the D string. And I think down, down, up, up is the best way to approach that. Then we move to an A minor, but again, we're just playing the A, the D, and the G strings. So now we have to what is actually a G6 sus4. Sounds really serious, but it's not. I think a lot of people think it's just a G chord or maybe an A minor with a G in the bass, but if you listen to the recording, it actually is. That's a G6 with a sus4 in it. So now we have and then we move to what is essentially an F chord to really a G7. But you don't have to form the full chord for the F if you don't want to, because we're just using the top 3 strings. And you move that up a whole step, and you will need the B note on the 4th fret on the G string, so you might want to form the whole chord for that. And you hear that little bit right there. And then we play an F chord twice to a G7. And over that, F to G7 is where you hear that little lead lick. So I tabbed that out for you in case you want it. You pretty much hear it every time it comes around. Again, there's a lot of guitars on this track. There's a lot of guitars on this album, if you know what I mean. So let me go over that again and show you exactly what we have. And again over the F and the G. That's nice if you want to toss that in, okay? And then we're going to repeat that, but we don't have the extra activity on the C chord, okay? We're just using the A, the D, and the G string and arpeggiating it in the same way. to the G chord that second time around, you can hear on the recording that they start kind of strumming it out before they go to the next part, okay? So that's kind of cool if you want to put that in there as well. And then we do go to the next part. So I'll show you how I play this part, how I like to play it, and then an alternative chord, if you will, for the second one in line. So we start out with an A chord, and we pick the A and the D strings, and then follow that through with down, down, up. I think this sounds nice if you're playing it by yourself on guitar or singing along with it, or maybe accompanying somebody else, okay? So we've got the A chord, and then what we have is an E major chord with a G sharp in the bass, and this is one that you can play differently. I like to play it like this, and then to the F sharp minor, because you can hear those bass notes dropping. And I like the way that sounds. Also, the chord movement here sounds nice. So again, we've got the A chord, and then we form an E major with a G sharp in the bass. You got to kind of stretch for that one. So in this case, I'm picking the 6th string and then skipping a string. So I'm going right down to the D string. And then again, down, down, up in the strumming pattern. And then we form a full F sharp minor bar chord. And then we go from D to E. You can just do downstrokes if you want, or you can kind of put some extra ghost notes in there. Whatever works for you is totally cool. So again, this part is played like so. Now, you can play that second chord like this as well, and you'll see Clapton do that. I think I have seen him live playing it like that. Like maybe he moves from an A major up here to playing an E major 6, 4, 5 on the D, G, and B strings, and then he probably uses his thumb to grab the G sharp on the top. So you got to make sure you mute out the A if you want to play it like that. But again, I think it sounds good the other way as well. Play that twice, of course, and then we move into the next part. So we start with an A major chord, and I think you want to play that in standard position with all 3 fingers, because you want to get that E string ringing through there. And we're going to move from A major to A major 7 to A dominant 7th, very George Harrison if you will, and then back to D and E again. Back to the original chord progression, okay? So that's an A major, as I said, A major 7, A dominant 7th, D to E. And what I like to do on that part is open up the strumming. So I'm doing down, down, up, down, down, up, switch, switch again, and then D to E. Repeat that, of course, and then at the end we add the F to the G7 again. And that is the entire chord progression for Bell Bottom Blues. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and as always, all the best to everyone, and we'll see you real soon.